So you probably clicked on this video because you're interested in thrifting, you want to start thrifting more in 2025, or you just want to hear some tips and tricks, and I'm here for that. So without further ado, let's get started. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amber, and in today's video I'm going to share with you all of my tips and advice for thrifting in 2025. So I actually have been thrifting for quite some time now. I started back more like I think freshman year in high school because that's when I was going out more. I think I started working sophomore year and earning more money, and I wanted to buy some cute clothes but not retail price. So long story short, I got into thrifting because I just love being able to find so many cool unique pieces that you can't find in normal retail stores today, because everything is very curated to the trends, to certain seasons with the trends, and I could go on and on. But what I'm trying to say is I've been thrifting for quite a few years, and I'm so excited to share with you guys, give you some guidance on how to approach thrifting. Okay, so the first thing is pretty obvious. You're gonna wanna go to Google Maps or just look up, local thrift stores near you. I will say you are always gonna encounter thrift stores that are either overpicked or just don't have a great selection of items you're currently looking for. That is very common for thrifters. Sometimes it's a gamble walking in and looking for things, especially if you have a wish list or something in mind. But let me tell you, patience is key. A lot of the thrift stores I like to go to that are at least close to me or 30-40 minutes away from me are mostly Goodwill, Savers, and Crossroads. I know a lot of states have like Value Village, which I really wish I had that in my area, but unfortunately I don't. But those are just the common thrift stores that I like to go to. And that leads me to my first tip. There are certain stores that actually give you a discount or a coupon to use whenever you choose to donate with them. So for instance, Savers actually does offer 20% off each item you buy from them when you give them a bag or something to donate. So whenever I go to Savers, I like to either ask my fiance or people in my family if they have anything like at all, from decor to clothes, random things that can be donated, and I just take that with me to Savers and they give me a 20% off coupon, which is so awesome because obviously thrifting is going to be a lot cheaper and prices are knocked down a lot. I will always take an extra 20% off my purchase. As far as the actual part of thrifting, like going through all the racks, trying on clothes, trying to find certain pieces you want to find there for a lot cheaper, I do have some tips for that. So the first tip would have to be making sure you are packing a hand sanitizer or a hand wipes. This is just for cleanliness reasons. I find it super nice to be able to like clean off my hands after going through clothes. This will just help you overall stay healthy before and after you are done thrifting. Another thing, of course, is bringing reusable bags. I have a Baggu bag. I save bags from certain stores maybe I've purchased from in the past that are reusable. It's so helpful. That way you can just really focus on going through the racks, trying on, doing what you need to do in the thrift store and shop. I just find it a lot easier and more ethical to bring reusable bags, so if you can, do that. Another tip for thrifting that I think is really important is to think twice before you're gonna purchase an item. I just find thrifting to be sometimes difficult and actually a money sucker sometimes when you're not paying attention to actually how much money you're spending, how often you are saying yes to items that you think will look good on you, think might work out, or you think you could style in at least one way. And I've learned that it helps my bank account a lot and the room in my closet when I say no to those items and just leave them behind, let someone else that will fit into it better, that will wear it more often. It's best just to say no, be more strategic and intentional with what you're purchasing. That actually brings me to my next tip, which is to take note of certain tops, bottoms, whatever you find in the thrift store that you think really goes with your style well, that silhouette looks good on you, or you're just lately having an obsession with a trend that you're finding in the thrift store. I would take note of the brand and the material it's made out of, because that particular item you found that one time that you really want to get didn't end up fitting you, or it just didn't work out, or maybe there's some conditioning going on, like a hole. Like the amount of times I've found tops with holes in them or stains, and I'm just so sad to let it go, but I do because I know if I take mental note or put down on my phone in notes the particular brand and what it was made out of, why you liked it, I know in the future I could be looking out for that same type of item or something at least similar to it. I also like to go on Poshmark instead and look up that type of top, or or look for it in a different color with that same brand. Now, let's say you're in the thrift store and you don't even know where to start. I like to tackle things section by section. I either start in the tops, then go to sweaters and long sleeves. And what you especially want to do when you're thrifting, I know a lot of people feel like it takes too long or it's just very tedious, but a great thing to do is listen to music, listen to a podcast, obviously be aware of your surroundings. You know, listening to music and going through each item of the rack is really going to lead you to higher chances of finding something really cute or something that you might have missed because you were going quickly through the racks or just jumping from spot to spot in the thrift store. I can't stress how many times I myself have gone through the racks and realized I was being lazy and skipping some sections, and I would go back to that section and guess what I would find? I would find a misplaced jacket that was the coolest brand ever and a really cool fit, and I end up getting it. Don't let the racks intimidate you. Just tackle them one by one. Choose to have fun with it. Choose to go with the flow. Enjoy it by romanticizing it with some good music or a nice podcast. When I'm going through all the racks, I do like to face a certain direction so that way you can easily see the tag and the label and how much it is, what size it is, because of course, you know, things are misplaced sometimes. So when you're going through the rack, make sure you're facing the front of the items. I know that also seems obvious, but sometimes people are just kind of like aimlessly just doing whatever, and what saves me time, it makes thrifting a lot easier and a more pleasant experience. Now, every thrift store is different, but there are always restock days or days the thrift store likes to refresh the racks, add new things that have been donated. So it's best to pay attention which day you are going, and if you notice that the racks are full or there's barely anything you're seeing in the stores, take mental note of that. Again, it's really helpful to go on certain days, maybe even certain times of the day when it's not as busy, so you can just enjoy your time at the thrift store, enjoy the whole process of finding cute items. I would even recommend chatting with a worker, asking them if they know what certain days they restock the racks or when is the best time to go when it's not as busy or crowded and overpicked. Now, I know of course there are a few challenges that come with thrifting, one of them being some thrift stores don't provide dressing rooms, fitting rooms, or they're just closed for some reason. But to give you hope, most of the thrift stores I go to don't have any fitting rooms or they're not available for some reason, and that's where I have another tip for you. So you're either going to want to wear a nice basic white or gray tee, maybe even a black tee, tank top, anything with a neutral color underneath your clothes. For instance, right now actually I'm wearing a cardigan and I have this white tank top. It makes life so much easier. Let's say you find something with a really cool pattern on it or a lot's going on a top or jacket and you want to throw it over and make sure it fits you, but you're kind of blinded by the fact that you're wearing a blue striped shirt underneath that item. It's gonna be really hard to tell if it will look good on you. It's gonna be really distracting having the clash of patterns and colors going on. So wear a neutral tank top or shirt. Do you see him? I've also seen some other girls wear like a jumpsuit. That is a lot easier too to try items on, especially with bottoms and skirts. So that's another tip if you really like to try things on like I do, because I don't like risking purchasing an item, going home and it just not fitting. It's the worst feeling. Speaking of bad feelings, I highly recommend making sure you are checking your pieces of clothing all around the collar, just basically everywhere before you purchase them, because sometimes there are holes, there are tiny little stains or some conditioning going on that you maybe did not pick up on before when you picked it off the rack or tried it on even. I've had that happen to me so many times. To save yourself money and stress, make sure you check your items before you purchase them. Sometimes workers are really understanding and they will dock off a certain percentage for you on an item. Sometimes thrift stores are really lenient on that. For the people that have never thrifted before or never desired to really just go to a thrift store and check it out, I could not encourage you enough. I know there are going to be so many good quality items with great materials at the thrift store that you cannot find in a retail store. Hands down, I stand by that. The reason I say that is because although they restock a lot of items that were just recently donated, people have been hanging on to their clothes for years, maybe even decades. So that's why the thrift store is such a fun place to find not only like unique items, but also old vintage items. I can't tell you the amount of cool, unique patterns, silhouettes, and styles I've found at the thrift store, ranging from the 60s to 90s. There's so many cool gems hidden in the thrift store for you to find. So if you've never thrifted before, grab a friend, just go check it out for yourself, and I guarantee you will find something. And if you don't, there's always better luck next time. And that is all I have to share with you guys today about thrifting. I hope this motivated you to go check out the thrift stores near you and just enjoy the process more of thrifting and secondhand fashion. I am so passionate about this topic, and I'm excited for just future thrift vlogs with you guys. Go ahead and make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a like, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.